This video is brought to you by
Cool Green Clothing. We done gone worldwide and we coming straight out of Baltimore. And if you're in town, pull up on us at 215 West Saratoga Street. And if you're not in town, go online right now at coolgreenclothing.com and make your purchase. Oh yeah, and by the way, if you ain't cool and getting the green, you're in the way. And that's just basic.
What's going on, YouTube fam? It's your boy Tony 2 times, and we back with another episode of the Baltimore Way, man. Before I start, be sure to tap that like button. It's free. It helps get the video out there. Definitely watch this video to the end to hear the full story and all the details in the case. For my day one fam, y'all already know it's all love. Thanks for tuning back into another episode. If you're new to the channel and you feeling the content, feel free to subscribe. Definitely hit that notification bell so you can be notified every time we drop a new video. Oh yeah, feel free to share the channel with your peoples. Everybody is welcome. With that being said, let's get right into the story. When we decide to leave our house, whether to go to work or just to go get some fresh air, the goal is always to make it back home safe. Some already know we live in a dangerous and unpredictable world. So they might choose to go to work, come home, and chill with their family. No clubs or nothing like that, just so they can make sure they don't run into a crazy situation. Most people don't go around looking for trouble. You focus on what you got going on, and if you happen to find yourself witnessing something crazy or somebody on some crazy type of time, it's that old sign, it's not my situation, and if it don't apply, then let it fly. While it's smart to stay out the way and only rotate with people you trust, but in certain environments, everyday activities can be dangerous. Just pulling up somewhere to get something to eat or going to get gas. As now, people are literally pumping gas with their blicks in their hand, just in case somebody feel like cracking slick. Of course, as we get older, a lot of us learn how to stick and move out here. Meaning, if you see 30 dudes standing in front of a gas station, you probably will keep it pushing and try to make it to another one. Or not even going to places or areas where you think you might need a gun. Some call that being scary. Others call that being smart, ducking a life sentence or the graveyard. But in certain places, you don't have to go looking for trouble. Unfortunately, it can find you. And on this episode of the Baltimore Way, we'll be discussing the case on how a quick trip to a Baltimore gas station turned into a fatal encounter. Back in 2024, 25-year-old Sherman Anderson was a young man trying to navigate life in Baltimore. Described as laid back, the type that didn't rotate with a lot of people. He mostly stayed to himself or vibed with close friends and family. In another part of town was 20-year-old Devontae Hamlet. The young man was said to have a decent upbringing with his mother and sister, but he would start bucking and rebelling, feeling like his father abandoned him. He hit the streets, started popping pills, and playing with guns at an early age. Devontae had a blind loyalty for the guys in the streets, as it seemed he was looking for acceptance and love. He caught a few charges, did some time, but now he was back in the streets and trying to stay out of trouble. But old habits die hard, especially if you don't separate yourself from the same environment and people you were around when you was doing dirt. Devontae often hung out at the Carroll Mart gas station in the 3300 block of Ricerstown Road. Him and his guys will post up just to geek and get off whatever they had to sell. On May 5th, 2024, it was late night going into early morning, meaning just after 12 a.m. Sherman was out sliding through the city, enjoying the night with one of his homies, who we will call Jay for the sake of the story. While driving, they realized they needed gas, and driving up Ricerstown Road, they saw Carroll Mart. They pulled up, and Sherman walked in the store. It was a few guys talking, some wearing shiesties or ski masks on their face, which is not uncommon for Baltimore. A few of them were standing at the cash register, going back and forth, but not buying nothing. Sherman waited for a few minutes, but only coming in to buy gas and thinking they were just in there geeking, he said, "Excuse me, yo." and proceeded to tell the store clerk how much gas he needed. One of the men in the group asked him, like, "You good, yo? You just jumped in front of us and you ain't even say nothing." He stated, "I'm just trying to get gas, bro." One of the men that was a part of the group was standing in the doorway and saw the brief back and forth between his group and Sherman. Shiesty on his face, he bopped to the car. Sherman walked out the store, and seconds later, multiple shots went off, and people started running, fleeing the store. BPD was called to the location for shots fired. When they arrived, they found Jay, Sherman's homie, suffering from gunshot wounds, but he was conscious. Sherman was also hit multiple times, but unfortunately, he wouldn't survive his injuries. Police attempted to question Jay about what happened, but he refused to talk to police. Only thing they could do is get surveillance footage from the store. Video showed Sherman and Jay pull up, and Sherman go in the store. It showed a group of men talking and a man standing outside with a ski mask on his face. After he saw Sherman and his homies going back and forth, he walked to the car and got a gun. And when Sherman came outside, he shot at him and Jay. The shooter then fled in a blue Honda, but police had no description because the shooter's face was covered. Tips will come in though after an $8,000 reward was offered for information, with people stating the shooter and man behind the mask was Devontae. Just 4 days after the shooting, BPD went to an apartment complex to talk to the young man and one of his homies. As police questioned the young man, Devontae saw where the conversation was going. He gave police a fake name, but he realized they was trying to lock him up. He jumped out of a third-story window and fled, breaking his foot but getting away. In the mix of all that, he made one critical mistake though. He dropped his cell phone. A search of his cell phone had screenshots of the gas station crime scene, the news report with the incident, Sherman's Instagram account. Pictures were also found as well that showed Devontae allegedly wearing the same outfit as the gas station shooter. But the nail in the coffin was him texting his brother like, "Yo, report the Honda stolen. It's hot. They looking for it." Police found the car abandoned a few days later with a medical boot inside, which led them to believe Devontae ditched the car after jumping out the window. Eventually, the young man was tracked down, taken into custody, and charged with first-degree hit, attempt, first-degree assault, and using a firearm and commission of a violent crime. As trial started, the case seemed shaky. Jay, Sherman's homie, refused to testify, and another witness also refused as well. The shooter had on a mask. Devontae's lawyer argued there was no possible way they could identify their client and pin him behind the trigger. He jokingly stated unless police had X-ray vision. But a tattoo on Devontae's hand, the outfit the shooter had on, the screenshots, pictures, and text messages were shown to a jury and left for them to decide. They felt like in fact he was the man behind the ski mask and came back with a guilty verdict on all charges. At sentencing, Sherman's mother spoke out about how senseless the shooting was. She stated her son only went to get gas. Devontae's lawyer pleaded with the judge for mercy, claiming the young man had issues since a hopper. He grew up in the projects, saw violence his whole life, even being shot himself, and he was struggling with addiction. But the judge pointed to the fact Devontae had just been released 20 days prior for a charge and put on probation. And then he didn't shoot just once, but he let off multiple shots at Sherman and Jay. The judge felt like that was an attempt to take their lives. In the end, at just 21 years old, Devontae was sentenced to life in prison plus 65 years. Rest in peace to Sherman. I send my prayers and condolences to his family. It's crazy. A simple trip to the gas station ended with one man gone and another man with life in prison. We always talk about staying out the way, but certain situations just can't be avoided. Anybody that has a car has to stop and get gas. Some will probably say Sherman should have waited in line for the men to finish doing what they was doing. But I'm sure any of us in the same situation would have said the same thing. "Excuse me, fellas. All right, let me get 20 on pump 5. No harm, No foul, I'm out y'all way. Especially if y'all not buying nothing. But that ego and pride has everybody thinking they gotta go from 0 to 100. But that 30-second decision and that bop to the car cost Devontae a life sentence. But y'all let me know what y'all think about the situation. Leave it in the comments. Yeah, man, crazy story. Rest in peace, that young man. I definitely send my prayers to his family. But I ain't gonna talk too much more about this one. Y'all let me know what y'all think about the situation. Be sure to tap that like button if you're feeling the content. I definitely appreciate you if you made it to the end. This is another episode of the Baltimore Way. It's your boy Tony 2 times. Love, fam. I'm out.